Hi, Robert here again with some more tips on how to use that great little cluster bouquet that you just bought at your local supermarket. We're going to show you two different ways to use this particular cluster. This one has miniature carnations, agapanthus, aster matsumoto, and purple aster. You're going to love the looks that we're going to create with this one. As always, take your flower food and place it into the two vases. That's what we're going to do first. We're going to split this up into two vases so you can use it either in two rooms in your house or possibly both together on the table. Save your wraps. For future videos, we'll show you what to do with them. I'm splitting up the flowers, my agapanthus, my aster, my hot pink matsumoto, and my carnations. What we're going to do first is take the mini carnations and I'm going to pull them apart into little clusters. Always removing this little bit of foliage here, that could really discolor your water. So you want to try to remove that. And what I'm going to create here is just a little ball of miniature carnations. Just keep turning it in your hand. And don't worry, you're not hurting the carnations by breaking them apart because we're going to give them a fresh new cut. So as you can see, I'm just getting a little cluster of miniature carnations. Now we're going to take our purple aster and we're going to put this in with it. What we're going to do is cut it into smaller little segments like this. See, I can actually get two pieces because I'm cutting them down short. And you're not hurting the flowers at all. You just have to remove some of this little bit of floret because that's going to be below the water line. So I'm going to continue going around. I'll use these last two so it's a nice full little vase. Snip. And you should have something that looks just like that. A good rule of thumb is that your little vase should be about the same height as the vase itself. So if this is a little 4-inch vase, you should come about 4 inches above the vase. That gives you a better proportion. But like I always tell you, cut first, remeasure, and cut again because you don't want to cut it too short to start. Cut on an angle for better water absorption. And I'm going to measure a little bit more. And that should be perfect. All my foliage is removed. Place it in the little vase and just fluff it like that. You can move it around and pull the aster through too. I like to have a collar effect along the outside edge. Now let's take the matsumotos. Now matsumotos are a phototrophic flower. What that means is if their heads are curved over like that, in a bright room, they will eventually lift up like this. I'm going to do the same thing with these by pulling them all apart. Remove all this little foliage too. We don't want that to hurt the water. Keep going around and around so that you could see a little bit of this beautiful hot pink color all the way through. And this is what you should have, something like that. And sometimes you can kind of help the little heads standing up by just putting them through like that. Now we're going to take the agapanthus. Agapanthus is a great flower and all these little buds are going to open up real nicely. I'm going to slip this into the center here See, like that? And all my little buds will all be on the outside edge. Now this one we're going to cut just a little bit shorter because I'm going to put these both on the same table and I want them to be two different heights. So I want all my little asters to land right on the rim of the vase. Do our double cut trick again, just to be certain. And then move them around. Remember, all this is going to burst into purple. There you go. Place them on a table or on two little coffee ends, and you'll have a beautiful little garden-y look. Let's take the same bouquet and do like we did before. This time I found a very cheery yellow vase. I want a real spring look. This time we're using white aster, purple matsumoto, and again, the pink miniature carnations and the two agapanthus. Saving your fabric wraps. What we're going to do first is take our asters. We're going to remove the foliage and then take our purple matsumotos and also remove the foliage. I'm going to take one and then again repeat the step, 1 and 1. And you see I'm kind of making a little teepee shape down at the bottom here. Always removing the foliage. And don't forget, put the food in the water. I'm going to remove these because they're going to be below the water line, but I'm still going to use them just by stripping off the foliage. Sometimes it's easier to start a vase when you're working with it in your hand. You should have something that looks like that. Now what we're going to do is take our miniature carnations and place them all around the outside edge. Removing some of those little buds that will be below the water line. And I'm going to place a couple right in the middle. Right there in the center. If it's stubborn, don't push too hard. Just try another spot. Take these last little 3 that we have here on the table. And now we're going to do the same measurement trick. We want it to be about the same height as the vase. So I'm going to measure and cut. And that should be about perfect. Give it one more little nip so they're all even. And I'm going to place it into my vase. Fluff around a little bit. And now let's take our 2 agapanthus and we're just going to trim a little bit off the bottom on an angle. And we're going to place them here so that they come up well above the rest of the flowers because they are truly our focal. Leave one a little taller than the other, like that. Remove any little pieces that may be bending over or falling. And look at the 2 different looks you've just achieved using the same type bouquet. As always, happy arranging!